So today we're going to be talking about DHT. DHT is a controversial topic among guys. Some say that it's a bad hormone, causes hair loss or prostate enlargement, while others praise it for being the ultimate male hormone since it's significantly more potent than its little brother, testosterone. So we're going to find out the truth in today's video and why and how you might want to naturally increase your DHT production. All the information in today's video plus much more can be found in my book, Master Your T. Visit masteryourt.com for a free digital download of the book. $20 in value, absolutely free for you. DHT actually has 2 to 3 times higher affinity to the androgen receptors, and it's known to be bound and active at the receptor sites for 5 times longer than testosterone. Dihydrotestosterone also has a much higher androgenic activity than testosterone, whereas testosterone, on the other hand, has significantly higher anabolic activity than DHT. So while it's known that overly high DHT levels in combination with chronically high estrogen and the male pattern baldness gene are associated with scalp hair loss, it's also known that in men with no male pattern baldness gene, DHT levels at the top of the reference ranges are not associated with any sort of increased hair loss. So this study with 316 men actually showed that high DHT was associated with 35% lower risk of developing baldness. So another claimed side effect of high DHT hormone levels is prostate enlargement, otherwise known as BPH. And while some studies have linked the high DHT levels to that condition itself, it must also be noted that there are a ton of studies that have not found any correlation between DHT and prostate enlargement markers. Even 10-fold increases in DHT were noted to have no significant effect on prostate size in this study. Bottom line on side effects, if you're having prostate issues and you're going bald, it's likely because you have the genotype for those conditions and you have overtly high DHT levels at the same time with high estrogen levels. So the gene explanation makes sense if you look at the studies, which often show extreme variances between the effect of androgens on hair loss and prostate enlargement. So take this study, for example, where DHT was identified as a compound that had an important role in development and progression of prostate enlargement, and compare that to this one where men rubbing DHT on their scrotum for months showed no signs of prostate enlargement. So one factor that's always confused me about these claimed side effects is that hair loss and prostate problems actually become increasingly more common as men get older, whereas androgens are known to actually go down as men age. So if DHT is the only culprit, why don't all men in their 20s have prostate problems? If those side effects are possible, why would anybody purposely want to increase the DHT hormone? Well, actually, DHT is really necessary for the growth of body hair and linear beard growth. And unlike testosterone, DHT cannot be converted into estrogen by the aromatase enzyme. Exogenous DHT administration is known for helping mood, energy, and confidence boosting effects in men. And by increasing cyclic AMP levels in tissue, DHT stimulates lipolysis, or fat burning, and improves thyroid function. Although DHT is not highly anabolic, it still promotes muscle gains by increasing nervous system and muscle strength. And DHT and testosterone are responsible for all masculine body and facial characteristics like a wide jaw, broad shoulders, and so forth. Increased DHT levels are strongly linked to higher brain GABA levels, which are promoting the more alpha male relaxation, and DHT, being the main androgen in sexual organs, is even more potent than testosterone at promoting libido and erection quality. So the condensed version of all that is basically that DHT makes you look, act, and feel like a man, even more so than testosterone does. So before we get into ways to boost DHT levels, here's how the hormone is made. So your body produces 3 different types of an enzyme called 5-alpha-reductase, type 1, 2, and 3. And these enzymes then convert testosterone into DHT in various different organs within the body. And this will typically take up to 5% of the testosterone that is naturally produced. One weaker adrenal androgen, androstenedione, can also be directly converted to DHT by 5-alpha-reductase enzymes, and this conversion, however, is more notable in women than in men. So here are a handful of ways that you can increase your DHT levels naturally. So the first thing you need to do is drop body fat. It's been well documented that guys with higher body fat have significantly lower testosterone levels than lean guys, also accompanied with higher aromatase enzyme activity. Being fat suppresses T and DHT and promotes estrogen production. The bottom line is basically getting to a sweet spot somewhere between 8 and 14% body fat, and this is going to help you increase more T and DHT production and lower your estrogen levels naturally. Next up on the list is you want to start weightlifting. So weightlifting is one of the best ways to naturally stimulate hormone production. I've written a lot about the effects of resistance training and the effects that it has on testosterone levels, and I wrote in detail about it in the Thor program. This boost in testosterone alone is enough to improve DHT levels by increased turnover. But resistance exercise works also on a skeletal muscle tissue level to increase the basal DHT levels in rodents and tissue levels of 5-alpha reductase and DHT in humans. So a mix of good things is going to happen inside your body and in your muscles when you start lifting and doing resistance training. All this while you're getting stronger and more ripped and healthier. Therefore, resistance training is an absolute no-brainer for every guy interested in improving their hormonal health. Next up on the list, we have sprinting. So HIIT exercise, or basically any type of exercise where you're doing quick explosive spurts, is really good for your testosterone and DHT and growth hormone. I've previously talked a lot about HIIT training or sprinting and its effect on testosterone levels here on the channel and on Anabolic Men. And as you might guess, the effect is as positive as it gets. Now, about 5% of this T is converted to DHT, and this boost in testosterone alone is going to be enough to increase your DHT levels. Looking specifically at studies where the researchers have examined the effect of these quick bouts of exercise on DHT, we can see that in young men, DHT goes through the roof after sprinting. And in another study, it was noted that anabolic or androgenic hormones skyrocket with sprints, but it has to be an all-out sprint to actually stimulate the DHT production. Next up, a good way to increase your DHT levels is actually to increase the amount of carbs in your diet. This might not sound like good news for low carb or keto people, but carbohydrates are very important for having healthy testosterone production and healthy DHT production, and just healthy thyroid and hormones in general. It's also been shown in many studies that diets higher in carbs result in more favorable free testosterone to cortisol ratios, more total testosterone, and higher 5-alpha reductase activity. For example, in this study, they found that when the caloric intake and fat intake are kept identical, a diet where the carbohydrate to protein ratio was kept at 2:1 actually showed 36% higher free testosterone levels and significantly reduced cortisol when compared to a diet where the ratio was switched to 1:2. Next up, let's talk about caffeine. So there have been a few studies where caffeine taken before workouts resulted in 12 to 21% higher testosterone levels. So this small increase in testosterone alone basically should slightly increase the turnover rate for DHT, but that's not all that caffeine is capable of. So in a rodent study, it was noted that a single caffeine administration of undisclosed amount was actually able to increase 5-alpha reductase activity by 30% via an unknown mechanism. Another rodent study used human equivalent of 2 to 4 milligrams per kilogram caffeine and noted up to a 57% higher DHT level. So this is actually just a quick sample of possible things you could do. There are a ton of other things that you can do, and all this information can be found in my book, Master Your T. So if you really are interested in this, if you're interested in learning more about increasing not just your DHT levels, but your natural testosterone production, go to masteryourt.com. I'm actually offering this book for free as a digital download over there. All you got to do is enter your email, and you'll get the book delivered straight to your inbox. And you'll also get a $5 coupon for TestroX. So TestroX is our Umzu testosterone increasing supplement, and it's all natural. It helps work with your body to naturally improve your own testosterone production. You'll get a $5 off coupon. Just go over to masteryourt.com and you can get both these things right now.